What's up, guys? We're back. So we're gonna go ahead and work on this car a little bit more today. I got a few things for it that came in. We got a fuel pump, fuel filter, the hood struts, and the struts for the hatch as well. It's kind of a pain to work on this thing without that stuff staying up, having to put a pole in it. It's just annoying. So we went and got that stuff ordered. That's what came first. I ordered a bunch of parts. That's just kind of what showed up first. So we're gonna go ahead and try and knock some of that stuff out and see what we can get done. Oh, also we washed it. So let me go ahead and show you around. All right, so here it is. We gave it just a quick bath, nothing too serious, just to try to knock off most of the stuff. It came pretty clean. It's got kind of average blemishes for the year and the amount of miles, but other than that, it came real clean. A simple paint correction, I think, should get it looking super, super nice, but it really didn't come out that bad. The pinstriping on the front bumper, it just blew right off with the water hose. I kind of figured that was gonna happen. We're gonna order new pinstriping for it. Everything else though came out real nice. We vacuumed it out real quick. I just did a quick clean on the interior and it came out super, super nice. We did find replacement floor mats, so we're gonna order those so we can get the 50th anniversary mats back in it, looking nice and new. But other than that, it came out pretty good. I think we're happy with it. Like I said, again, we'll do a paint correction and get it looking a lot better once it's buffed out and polished. But for now, this looks good for sitting in the shop. So let's get it open and get these struts on. All right, so we had to do some modifications to this, and I'll show that here in just a minute. Let's get this one tightened up. You can tell just with this one good strut, it's enough to hold the hood up, even without the other one on, or without the other replaced. Oh, actually, this one's on upside down. Let's fix that real quick. I left the other one on instead of taking them both off at the same time. That way I had a reference so I could see how the other one was installed. There we go. So let me talk about this for a second. So you can see this is the new strut, and we have this mounting bracket. Mine did not come with that bracket. When I went back to Rock Auto and checked all the part numbers, none of them did. So we had to take this bracket off and retain it for the new struts. I'm pretty sure all this is gonna clear. It should close just fine. I mean, I guess we'll find out here in a minute. But if not, we can always reverse it. The other side, I think, has a little more clearance, but I think we'll be all right. So on this one, you can see here, this is the bracket. So what I had to do is take this off, go to the bench, drill this out, cut a bigger hole, and put a nut and bolt through it. I just went through my nut bin and found one. I put it in with a washer and a lock washer. I also used a nylon nut. That way, I don't have to get it completely tight and worry about it backing off and coming off while driving. The nylon nut itself should hold and still give it enough give to where it can rotate. So we went ahead and did that. Let's get this other one finished up. Okay, so we got it drilled out. We used a 1/4-inch bit initially to get it, and then we just used a step drill to get it to where we need it to be. This is the hardware I found. I dug this out of my parts bin. It's just a number 3 Phillips giant bullet. bolt, and a nylon washer, or no, sorry, washer, a nylon bolt, a washer, and a lock washer. And then we'll go get that assembled. All right, let's go over this real quick. So the old strut, this is the new one. The old strut, basically it was on like this with this bracket, which goes up here like this. Drilled that out. And you saw the hardware we had for it earlier. When you take it off on the bottom is just a big number 2 Phillips. And then it's gonna have a washer and a lock washer. On the bottom of the strut, there's also this like nylon shim. So you wanna make sure you get that back in there. And it just slips in here like that. That way this goes in here. Let's see, what am I doing here? I'm sorry, the other way. Like this. The shim goes in there like this. This goes through there. Lock washer, regular washer. Tighten down by hand, and then this again goes on here like this. So with our new hardware, put it on here. Like so, and lock washer and washer and nylon nut. And this, the original bolt that goes up into the hood is a 12. This new hardware, again, is the number 3 Phillips, and this one's actually a 13. You want it just tight enough to where it's not going to come loose, but it can still rotate. Maybe a little bit more. So, and then the number 12, which is also a Phillips. If you want to use a Phillips, you can usually lift the hood. There we go. That. And the number 3 Phillips down here, get it tight. None of this stuff needs to be extremely tight, just want it hand tight. They do have lock washers from the factory, so they shouldn't rattle loose. There we go. Equip up all your tools so you don't leave anything under the hood. And let's see how she functions. Very nice. Let's do the hatch. Okay, let's go over what we did here. These rears turned to be out, not a big pain in the ass, but not as easy as I had hoped. So I got one on already. You can see the one new one already holds the hatch up on its own, but we need to do the other one as well. So this new style, they have these clips. You just pry this out and away. Usually I pry it out and rotate it up, push it on the ball, put the clip back down and back in. That locks this onto the ball. Same with at the bottom. The bottoms came with new bolts. I don't know that well, okay, no, let me explain. So I had to use new ones. It came with new hardware for the bottom. I threaded that in. Super simple. Like I said, release the clip, put it on, put the clip back in. The top was a whole nother story. So Nissan, instead of making these removable, they are permanently emplaced. So the bottom's easy. It's got a nut. You just thread it out of the body and it comes off with the strut. The top is a whole nother story. The top, it does not unbolt from the hatch. Get this thing to focus. So what I had to do is very carefully, while it was on, saw through the top. So over here on this one, I haven't removed it yet. Like I said, this bottom one, we can unthread it here, pull it away. It'll retain that. Up here, since this does not unthread, I used my small Milwaukee die grinder with a cutoff wheel on it. And I basically just took my time very slowly cutting through this until I had relieved it enough, and I had to cut through it. I mean, you saw the other one, I pretty much had to cut it in half before I was able to get a small pry bar in here, pry it up, pry it loose, and just kind of wiggle it off and get it off. Once you get it off, you put the new one on easy. It has the clips. You just release the clip, you put it on the hardware, and put the clip back on. Easy as that. So we got the other side done. Let's go ahead and finish up this side and get this job complete. All right, just like that. No more hood prop, wood stick. We got those struts installed. You saw the process, kind of a pain in the butt, but still easy enough to do at home with basic hand tools. Don't be afraid to tackle this job. It was not terribly difficult. Just took a minute to kind of look it over and figure out how to do it. But we got them both on, both hood struts. Hood's up nice and high, right where it needs to be. Same with the hatch, got them all installed. And of course now they'll be easier to replace now that we've cut the old ones off. So if these ever go out on somebody else, they should last the entire time that I own the vehicle. But if they do go out to somebody else, they'll be easy to replace and they won't have to go through the hassle that I went through since I've already done the work to modify. Okay, we got it up in the air. Let's take a look. I looked at it real briefly. It doesn't look bad. Oh, we have a few spots here where some of the undercoating is coming off. Typical Datsun Nissan problems, very common. Nothing's rusted through, just some light surface rust. We'll clean all that up and we'll hit it with some fresh undercoating. It looks like the fuel tank comes out fairly easy. So we'll get that out in the next video and get it looked at. Pretty sure saw the original exhaust. We'll probably put exhaust on it, so we'll take that off, we'll retain it. Rear diff's leaking, it's been sitting. I'm sure the gaskets or it's just, I mean, cars sit and this is what happens. So we'll get that taken care of, we'll address it. Cobwebs everywhere, not terribly dirty. I'm assuming it was washed fairly frequently because there's not a lot of mud or debris. We have more undercoating here. I inspected it real quick. Not bad, just surface rust. Spider babies like crazy. Not a fan of that. But that's really it. Some leaks, just some general stuff you would expect for a car that's been sitting and that has the miles that it has. Here again, undercoatings come off, slight rust. Nothing severe, just surface rust. Same with all the way up here in the front. See the radiator there, the fan. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that. We'll probably drive it and see how it does, but I suspect we'll be upgrading the radiator and fan. Probably switch to electric fans for both this condenser and the radiator. But other than that, really not bad. Struts, I'm sure original. We're gonna go ahead and replace those. We'll keep everything we take off. I'm not sure how much pertains to the anniversary car. I don't want to throw anything away. I mean, I never throw anything away anyways. I have shelves of stuff over here. But we will keep everything just in case. Looks like he bottomed it out, or someone bottomed it out a couple times pretty good, because you can see some pretty big dents. But again, nothing that is really concerning. And if you remember in the first video, the clutch sticks to the floor. So we will also be replacing this slave cylinder, probably do the master cylinder as well. We'll drain the oil, we'll get some fresh oil in it. It's interesting, I wonder what that's all about. Threaded hole there. Maybe you Z31 guys know, leave a comment below. But we'll do some tasteful mods on this sucker. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll address this fuel in the next video and maybe get it a little bit closer to getting started. Also, maybe a sneak peek is due, huh? So there's the factory wheels. I used to have a 1991 Nissan Skyline GTST, had a fair amount of mods on it, sold it a few years back to do some work at my house to get my shop insulated and pour concrete out front and do some other things. But I didn't sell everything. Still have some things. So over here, we have a bunch of wheels and tires. We have some seats and bags, a set of old school Recaros, and the other one is actually R33 GTR Series 3 seats. They're in mint condition. If you want them, let me know. I will sell them. But for wheels, we're not gonna put those on it. But I think we will put these on it. I have a complete set, staggered 17-inch SA3Rs with all the coins, hardware, and clips with good tires. And I think they will look amazing on this. Also, more than likely, we'll be getting T3 coilovers and a few more of their products. I've been using them for a long time in my Datsun 510 builds. So we're gonna continue with that. But that's it. So that's all we got for today. We got it up in the air. We're gonna work on it some more in the next couple days. I go back to work this weekend. I've been gone for quite a while. We got more projects. We got a lot of stuff to do. Anyways, just continue watching, man. Like, subscribe, share, do all the things, and we'll see you next time.